Hello everyone, it's Roxy and welcome in the Bitcoin rabbit hole. On today's Q&A, we're gonna see the miner's fee. How does the fee dynamic works? How much you should pay? How to check how much to pay? Why do you have to pay? All of that is gonna be explained in this video. I hope you'll like it. So it's really straightforward. Basically, when you're gonna create a transaction, you need to pay the miners of the network to confirm the transaction, meaning that you need to incentivize the miners to take your transaction and not someone else's transaction to add it into a block and mine the block. So the miner is going to mine the block, but he can mine the block all his life without your transaction if you don't pay him, simply because he's probably not going to take it by heart. He's going to ask for compensation, and that is how the system works. You cannot change that. Maybe some miners will take a transaction for zero fee, but the whole system is made so that you cannot put zero fee. What I mean by that is that when you create the transaction, you can select and choose how much you want to pay the network. And this is going to be notified or see on your screen as Satoshi per byte. The byte is basically how heavy your transaction is. So if you use a simple transaction from a simple wallet with just a couple of UTXO, it's going to be really low in cost because it's going to be very light. However, if you do a batching transaction, if you do a lot of transaction, if you use some specific script into your transaction, so for example, to create an opening channel transaction to Lightning, those type of transactions, a multi-sig transaction, are going to be more heavy in script, because they are more complex with more condition, let's say. And because they're more heavy, they're gonna cost more. So the first factor of your price is always gonna be the transaction type, which address you use and how it is created. And then the second thing you can modify and adjust is how much you're gonna pay for the weight, how much you're gonna pay. And you can decide based on how much of a hurry you are. So basically, the minimum is going to be 1 Satoshi byte, meaning that it's 1 Satoshi that you are willing to pay. Not that it's 1 Satoshi, but it's 1 and then how much heavy is your transaction. If you put 1 Satoshi, it's the minimum, meaning that you are very not competitive, which is okay if no one is using the network, because the miner is going to take your transaction all day long simply because it's better than not take it since you're paying him. However, if the network is heavily used, heavily congested, if a lot of people are trying to use Bitcoin, the blockchain, then maybe some other people are ready to pay 2 Satoshi bytes, 3, 10, 50, 100, 1000 Satoshi byte. And in that case, the miner all day long is always going to take the more expensive transaction because he's going to gain more from the fee. So he's going to take the transaction at the end when there's nothing else more, let's say, economical viable for him to take, or simply because he has like some super small, heavy, super specific spot for you, and he's gonna add you by not kindness, but because it's more convenient for him. So you need to understand that depending on the network, you will have to adapt the fee you are willing to pay depending on how much you want to wait or not. If you are not in a hurry because it's simply a transaction to yourself and you don't need the money ASAP, then you can perfectly pay 1 Satoshi byte, 5 Satoshi byte, and just wait a couple of blocks, wait a couple of hours or even days for the transaction to be validated because you are not in a hurry. However, if you are in a hurry, you are probably going to pay more, pay the maximum that the free market is like calculating right now because you want to be in the next block. So the miner is going to look at all the unconfirmed transaction and say, all right, this dude is paying me 1000 Satoshi, 50 Satoshi per byte to confirm his transaction. The other dude is only paying me 100 Satoshi because he's paying 1 Satoshi by byte. Number of false, by the way. Which one I'm going to choose all day long? The one that pays more. If you go that on a higher scale, that's why if you don't pay a lot and some people pay more, they're going to be included. No. The question is not whether or not you are in a hurry, it's whether or not the network is busy. Because if the network is not busy and the blocks are almost empty, then it doesn't really matter that you pay more to be included, since everyone is gonna get in, literally, if the mempool, and the mempool is like where all the unconfirmed transactions are waiting to be confirmed, is almost empty or empty, then every time you make a transaction, regardless of how much you pay the miner, it's gonna be validated pretty much immediately. So what you can do is check the mempool. And there's some awesome tools like that. So if you have a node, you can probably just check it directly from your Umbrel. If you do not have a node, mempool space is the place to be. You're gonna see the congestion of the network, how much other people are paying, and how much you should pay. If you see that everyone that put 1 Satoshi or 2 Satoshi bytes go through, meaning it means that the mempool is probably empty, and then you can literally just pay 2 Satoshi bytes to be sure to be included. Pay 3 if you want to be extra sure. However, if you see that everyone is paying 30 to 40 Satoshis byte, it means the network is really busy. And in that case, you probably need to pump up those fees. Basically, that's how the fee dynamics work. It's a simple economic calculus. Are you in a hurry or not? Is the network busy or not? If you are not in a hurry, put a low fee. If you're in a hurry, put a high fee, but make sure that you adapt that depending on the network. The network is busy, high fee, it grows faster. The network is not busy, high fee, low fee, doesn't really matter. This is going to be dynamic, meaning that it's going to change all the time. During the 2017 bull market, it was really expensive to write down a transaction because the blocks are limited in space. However, today, I mean in 2020, 21, 22, the block has been mostly empty. So we were fine with really low fee. And when the fees are low, you should move your coins, you should consolidate your wallet, and you should open some Lightning channel because it is extremely cheap. When the network is gonna get busy again, if it gets busy again one day, who knows, no one knows the future, then it's gonna be expensive, and that's when you don't want to make a transaction except if you are like obliged to. This is basically, guys, it. I don't know what else to say about the fee dynamics. You can also take the hypothesis that because the block subsidy is going to decrease over time, the fee should go up. I believe it will be the case within the next like 10 to 20 to 30 years. However, this is for another video, another topic, another speculation. So please like, share, subscribe, and put the bell. I will see you around for another video. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the Patreon for making this channel possible. Honestly, the fees are pretty easy once you get it. Just adapt the fee based on the mempool and how much you are in a hurry. It takes like 10 seconds every time you make a transaction. And then if you have like an idea, then you can go. Like literally right now, I'm not checking the mempool every time I make a transaction, and I make transaction like once every 3 days, more or less. Simply because I know it's empty. So I know I can just put 1 or 3 Satoshi byte and it's gonna go through. This is it, guys. See you around. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on the social media, and if you want to support my work so I can keep producing formation, video tutorials, games in French, English, and Spanish for free, you can do so with the e-commerce, Bitcoin or Lightning donation, or directly through a Patreon for fiat. Thank you, and I will see you around. Bye bye.